as of nine days ago, I decided to try and learn the piano, or at least some of the basics of it, and that's really just to improve my understanding of music theory. And at the moment, I'm doing it with this keyboard from the 80s that a friend lent me, and I'm very grateful for, by the way, because I can't afford a keyboard. And I'm sharing videos of me clumsily making my way through the chords that I kind of know. And this is similar to what I did 2.5 years ago when I picked up the ukulele. I posted every song I managed to play, even if it was out of step or out of key sometimes. And so then I guess the point of this video is to answer the question, why do I put my stuff out there so quickly? Why am I embarrassed at how bad I am? And first, I'm not trying to be the best piano player in the world. If that was my aim, I may as well give up right now. My aim is to be the best I can be based on my current experience, however limited it is currently. And the best I can be right now is 11 chords. It's I can't even do the alphabet. 1 second. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, B flat, D, E, and A. That's it. That's all I know. Maybe tomorrow I'll know 12 chords. Maybe next week I'll be able to play those chords in a different order. Or maybe I won't, because maybe I'm a slower learner than the average person. And I see the stage in my learning as an opportunity to share just how bad I am, and then next week just how slightly less bad I am. Because ideally I will never be this bad again, and that's why I'm recording it and sharing it. Because I won't be able to record and share this level of progress ever again. And for me, the beauty of being a beginner at something is that I get to see some progression. That is, if I choose to keep going, because of course in life you have to make choices. As the saying kinda goes, you can do pretty much anything you want, but not everything. So the point here is that when I'm at the piano, I'm not doing something else. And honestly, the best thing about being a beginner is that I get to look forward to when I can do something, anything, with what I've learned. And I get to look forward to finding new ways of expressing myself. That is, if I do choose to keep going. Maybe I'll decide I'm not getting anything from it in a week or so, or that my time would be better spent on something else. Like maybe exercising, because since COVID, basically not done much of that at all. But for now, this is what I'm doing. And as I'm doing it, I'm sharing my small improvements, because I've decided that the process of learning is just as valuable as getting to a certain level. And yes, of course, we should set goals, but we shouldn't let that overshadow the value of what you can do today and what you know today, and however much or little progress you can make based on that baseline. And if you think about it, if you think about learning as a child, learning an instrument, learning anything, learning your times tables or how to tie your shoelaces, you would be expected to be bad or slow for a period of time. The adults in your life might roll their eyes at each other while you're practicing whatever instrument it is and say, well, okay, we're going to have to listen to this for a while. But generally that being bad is considered fine. Adults aren't typically telling their children not to bother because they aren't as good as someone else at something. And you, as the child, aren't embarrassed when you play Mary Had a Little Lamb out of beat. In fact, you're proud because yesterday you couldn't play the same tune at all. And yet, as adults, we're so scared of not being good or the best at something that we never share stuff unless it's successful. Or maybe we'll share something so bad that it's kind of funny. But generally speaking, we don't want to share the stuff that we weren't immediately good at. And that's the same, not just for music or art or anything. Like academics, when I was in academia, an academic doesn't share the 50 rejections they got before their paper was published. A job applicant isn't going to talk about publicly about all the jobs they didn't get before the one that they currently have. And even the best pianist in the world must have been bad at some point. But we only want to see the final outcome. But I guarantee you that that paper or job or most recent concert was not the final destination happiness for that academic or job applicant or pianist. In fact, the way I see it, the only real destination in life is death. And until that point, I have an opportunity to keep experiencing things. And since I don't know exactly when death will come, I may as well enjoy all the things I can do now, however well or badly. But I think we're subconsciously trained to think that things are only truly impressive if you do them when you're young. And because I had that mindset, I was scared of getting older. And with every year that passed, I felt like any achievements I made meant less. There's always this emphasis on, oh, this person is only 15 and they've managed to, get a song out, or they're a mathematical genius or whatever. And that's great, but I don't want to peak at 15 or even at 34. I just want to keep learning and keep expressing. And the fact I haven't achieved A, B, and C yet, and I'm 34 years old, means I get to achieve it later on. That is, for as long as life lets me. It's even better that I don't have to do all of these things right now. I have to make choices, which means I have enough things that are important to me that I can then space out throughout my entire life and keep learning and keep experiencing things over the course of my life. Because unless I really am a vampire, I'm not going to live forever. So if we get back to the question that at the beginning, because I have rambled a bit, I've gone off topic a wee bit, I think. I'm not sharing these videos because I think I'm good at the piano within just a few days, or because I'm brave even, because I don't really feel like there's anything to be brave about. I'm sharing because I'm excited. Just as a child is excited to show that they learned or did something at school that day. Maybe that just makes me childish, but the child knows, when they show you something, the child knows that you know more and can do more than them, but they're still allowed to take pride in where they are and where they're going, and that's precisely how progress is made. Is with starting at one point and making slow progressions to the next point and the next point and the next point. If I focus on how far I need to go to be what I would consider good, not even what other people would consider good, instead of on all the little wins I can make today, I'll always be unhappy and I'll likely always give up before I put in enough hours to be good at something. So when I do share my beginner moments, I'm actually sharing that excitement for learning and for music. I'm sharing my experience of the outcome and not just the outcome itself. The outcome at the moment is 11 chords. Nobody's going to pay to see that, I would imagine. I think the mistake people often make is to say to themselves, when I reach this goal, I'll be happy. But happiness isn't a destination. It's not as if more talented people are happier or that rich people are never depressed. For me, something that I've learned over the course of my adulthood is that happiness is found in every moment, and every moment requires you to make a choice based on what you value. And that doesn't mean I don't get frustrated when I hit a brick wall. I certainly do. I can sometimes become overwhelmed with how much I don't know at work, for example, because I want to do well at work. And it doesn't mean that I'm not sometimes embarrassed at my lack of progress. I think exercise would probably be a good example of that. If I start a new exercise class and I'm out of breath within 2 minutes and everybody else is fine, that's embarrassing to me. So it's not like I'm immune to any kind of embarrassment. But when I'm sharing my self-expressive endeavours, I don't see there being anything wrong with the fact that I'm not good immediately. In fact, I see virtue in the fact that I am going to have to put in time and effort in order and reach all those little goals before I get to that point. Sure, I would love to be a musical genius because it means I would be able to express myself the best way possible with the best music possible immediately. But there's no virtue in not having struggled. I personally think that there is value in the fact that someone got from A to B, and in the fact that you weren't always good at something, that there was progression made, effort, time put into something to get to that point. Because what's so impressive about learning something you found easy to do? Yes, it's unlikely I'll ever be a musical genius, but it's even less likely if I don't take those first steps. Wishing I could play the piano won't teach me how to play the piano. So sure, like I already said, it's good to have goals. My goal at the moment is to make sure I practice at least 10 minutes of piano every day for 30 days. Why? Because I just think that's something that A, is achievable for me at the moment, and would also be beneficial for my learning as a whole. So it's nice to have a little kind of arbitrary way to keep myself accountable. And for me, the process of working on something is as important, perhaps more important, than how other people judge the outcome of that process. So with that perspective, the way I see it, being bad at something I'd like to be good at means I get to dedicate a portion of my time to my personal growth, based on what's important to me, and on a higher level, also what's good for my mental health. I feel like it's good for my mental health to always be working towards something. And that's how people become great at things anyway, with each small improvement. So I say just enjoy being bad at whatever you're trying to be better at, and let the awesomeness come as and when it's ready to.